Okay, scene is set. Stephen, just having come out of the casino, meeting with Mr. Stanhope and the other members of the Camarilla, that he's just new to the city, letting them all know who he is and getting to know everybody. The Doctor, Mr. Vandenberg, um, Joey, the Bruja. Um, he didn't say anything at the time, but when he was offered the free drink from Mr. Stanhope, he noticed not the fact that it was refined, of course. He noticed that, strangely enough, it was easy. It went down easily, and nothing went off in his head like normally. He has to silence some voices most of the time when he goes and feeds and takes in mortal blood. And he's only just now starting to realize that, not realizing that feeding is a problem, but direct feeding is starting to be this channel. And like, he's not a violent guy. He doesn't want to see undue harm come to these vessels. They're simply vessels and tools to be used, but at the same time, that doesn't mean they need to be abused. He wants to take care of them and not do any undue harm. And sometimes he feels that every time he takes blood from them, a little bit of them comes in with him and stays with him. Sometimes a little more than he bargains for, but at the same time, but we all the kindred have to drink, and it's part of his personal curse that he's trying to find some type of cure to. He did notice that the bottled or the indirect drinking didn't have any immediate effect on him. So he's going out to get a bite to eat, and a quick bite to eat on the way back to his apartment to verify that this was a set, if there's any type of way to prove this, or if it was just a one-time event. So as he's going out, he puts the coat back on, and he steps into the shadows, pulls out his phone, and as he's doing that, he puts up his mask of 1,000 faces for Mr. Blankenship. As you'll notice down here on the side. And he calls up his favorite cabbie, and the cabbie comes up after a couple minutes. And he's going over this in his mind, and it's kind of an interesting idea, whether or not if it's the people themselves, if there's some way that, if the problem is within feeding from the mortals themselves, if there's some way around, he might be able to not necessarily around who he is. That you're not going to be able to cure that. That's understandable. But if there's a way that less harm can be done with them, it might cause hurt to him. But if that's going to be good, if it'll be good to the mortals that he's had to feed on for so long, if there's a way, what is it, a lesser evil, if there's such a thing, if there's a path, that he might look into other paths. It's still pure conjecture at this point, as he's still going out for that quick bite to eat. He's got a few ideas in mind. First off, the random street girl that he's going to try just a random street girl, see what happens. The homeless vet out there on the streets that's been looking in the alleys for. It's always been looking for the alley. You know, they're always going to be there. You're going to find somebody. Not enough to kill him, obviously. He's not the type to kill and drink till it does any harm. Then he's going to find just some random type of dog, not a stray dog like a rabbit or anything, but see if that has any effect. And then he's going to see about if the rats he can get anything from the rats, nasty as it's going to be to him. If he can draw any type of sustenance from them, if the animals are a possibility here, in order to protect, he's protecting the mortals in doing this. Strangely enough, he believes that there's a way to protect them by not feeding from them. If he's got to, his standards, he has to protect them by feeding from them, from dogs and rats, then he'll do that. That'll just have to be how it is. And if there is something to be done about this, he might be able to record the results and send it back to his old sire as a possible, not necessarily a cure, but a temporary fix for some of the madness that similar Malkavians might go through. It eases the pain that some of them might go through in similar situations. But at the same time, he's still waiting for the cab. So the cabbie drives up. Ah, Mr. Steven. How's it going? How's it going, Julian? Pretty good, boss. How's the tips been tonight? Oh, not too bad. He says back. Kind of light, but I could always use with more tips. So you know how it is. You can never say no to too much money. You can always use more to pay the bills. I'm like, well, I got some for you as long as you to keep quiet. You've been doing a good job about that, haven't you? You give him those eyes of, haven't you? Oh, sure, boss. Sure, definitely, definitely. I know how to keep stuff on the down low. Definitely, I'm not talking to nobody. Good, because not only would you lose my business, but some other interested parties would not look upon it too kindly if you were to kind of turn into a rat on stuff like this. Our partnership that we've got going on. Oh, definitely, sure. So what's the job tonight? Well, here you go. Here's $100. I need to go a couple different places. Go ahead and start me off to the Russian district. I'm looking for some companionship tonight back at the hotel. Oh yeah, whatever, boss. Whatever you say. He's got that wicked tuna accent from up near Boston. Yeah, whatever, boss. Whatever you say. And he drives off. Definitely off the books. Whatever you want. It might take a couple minutes to shake the cops, but you give me a second. I'll find you the ones that ain't rats for the cops neither. So you let me know what type you're looking for. What you like, ginger, blondie, brunette? What is it? At this point, I'm not terribly worried about it. Just something that's as little trouble as possible. Yeah, sure, whatever. So he'll drive for a little bit, pull up to somebody, and Here's another 100 for her. Yeah, you might want to get. Yeah, okay, fine. Here's a couple. Here's 50 more. Yeah, my friend here is like I give it to her. My friend here is kind of bored. You want to make some cash, and he'll kind of flash the money. Uh, I don't know, maybe, and then he'll roll down the window, um, make a quick charisma plus performance. I mean, just a straight 6, I'm guessing. When 4 successes. Oh yeah, definitely, certainly, boss. She says in kind of a mocking voice, "Me love you long time," and kind of gets into the car. And Stephen will take me back to the cheap hotel excuse me, Julian will take me back to the cheap hotel that Stephen's been staying at so far. And he gives me that look through the rearview mirror. Just, let me know when, boss. I'll drop her back off. Like, yeah, definitely, whatever. Stephen gives him the eyebrows, and he goes, yeah, come on in. And he talks with her a little bit, and she's just completely wowed by him. And he takes the two blood points. That won't hurt. Oh, whoops, that wasn't the right amount of dice. Give me a second. He's now rolling. Willpower, difficulty 6, 9 if I drain him to death. And that is a four difficulty, 4 dice, 6 difficulty. So he kind of fails, and he patches her up, but her spirit is definitely still with him for the rest of the night. I gotta cancel that out, and then that gets knocked out for that failure. He's like, what? This can't be right. She's saying, you lied to me, you tricked me. And she's messing with him in his head. He had an idea this would happen anyway, but he does gain his 2 blood points. We'll clear this. I will be... And seeing as he knew this will happen, he will actively spend a willpower to contain this, and because he knew it was coming up as he did it, it was active. He's doing a scientific test on this one. It's not feeding out of necessity. It's kind of feeding more out of a desire. No, he won't. He'll just go with it. As she's still kind of in the stupor of what's going on, he'll pick her up, take her back out to the car, kind of in a walking with her, stumbling her out there like she's drunk, and say, "Yeah, go ahead and get her back. She's had way too much to drink." And he'll nod down and give him the eyebrows up. He goes, "Yeah, sure, whatever, boss." And he'll wait for the call back from Julian, the cab driver. With this one obviously being what it was, and that is he's not overly tapped for blood. He's not going to risk it with the soldier tonight. He'll do that on a different night. He will, however, make the attempt with he'll find a rat or two down. He'll look in the sewers, find a rat or two, and then go down there and feed from them. He'll see how that works out for him. Actually, he'll probably be looking for a dog with streetwise and perception as he's going past, which is after Julian gets back with the car. He goes, "I need you to find me a dog. Don't ask." And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They find the dog with no problem. The dog comes along quietly, and they bring it back to the apartment. You've been a good help tonight, Julian. He'll hand him another 50, which would top him out at the 300 of real spare cash that he's got to mess with. So here's the bonus for keeping everything quiet. You're a great guy. Hopefully we can keep this together between us. Like I said, don't turn into a rat. And he'll give Julian, here's my burn phone number, and you keep one on you just in case. Julian got the burner phone and the hard to trace ones. That way, if we got to get a better one, it's not a problem. So there you are. He goes, "Yeah, sure, boss, whatever. Hope the rest of the night goes good for you." And the dog is back in the apartment. He's only going to take the one from him, and we're going to call the scene there, and I'm going to leave with the one extra blood point from the dog, and let the storyteller call whether or not the sanguinary animism that comes from mortals also is now sanguinary animalism that comes from feeding on would it come from feeding on rats, if that would have the same effect. Now, if it would, it's the willpower. If we have to do this roll still, I'll let the storytellers do the call. it's a failure, but if it's not a problem anyway, then I'm not terribly worried about it. So, if it didn't apply, he's not worried. If it does apply, his theory of getting off this easy is good, because Malkavians don't have a way out of their inborn derangement. It's the ST's call if there's a temporary fix for this. And with that being said, he'll take the dog, wrap the dog up in some of the spare sheets in his apartment, his hotel. Take him around to a lick the thing, lick the wounds. Take him around to the nearest trash can and dump him. It's so sad. Well, there's need to be a reason he would look like he was drained of blood. He'll take one of his knives, and slit his throat so it doesn't look like he just randomly died with no blood left in him. So it had to have bled out somewhere, and somebody took care of him. So hopefully not an issue. And with that being said, he'll go back in, consider what he's done for the night, and argue back and forth with the personality of the cheap street girl he didn't even bother to get a name from. Peach, Emerald, Sapphire, whatever she called herself that night. And her memories and whatnot go back and forth through Stephen's mind as he wanders back and forth, twiddling his thumbs and pulling his hair out and having nothing short of a nervous breakdown. He tries to find something on TV for the rest of the night, and until it's time to go back to sleep for the morning. And that will be seen unless he's needed for the rest of the night and is called upon during the night.